what?
Lizzo.
Oh, yes.
About
I heard
the
that it
medicine
wasn't
called Lizzo, where it just makes you not care about being fat.
Yeah.
It was called Lizzo.
And she
give me
reacted
some
to
of
it.
that.
She did. She reacted to it, and she turned it into a positive thing. I don't know if it worked the way they wanted. I don't know what their intention was, but I didn't think it was that bad. But it did. Like Lizzo sounds like one of those drugs.
All of those drug names are just ridiculous.
Somebody needs to start a YouTube channel. I've thought of this, just reacting to all those videos and like the 5-minute long versions where they tell like all the symptoms that you can. Why would I ever take any of these things?
There's been a few of them. They got like you don't pay attention to it because you're like usually it's a commercial or an ad or so you're doing whatever. And then you start realizing that, there's a 20-minute list of all these symptoms that you could get. And I'm like, I don't know what they're trying to cure, but I don't want to take the medicine. I don't think my psoriasis is that bad that, when you can tear your taint, you got taint tearing as one of the side effects. I'm good.
You don't want to take anything with taint tearing.
It's like thinning the wall of the perineum, and you're like, oh, okay.
Wow.
And then my kid's like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, that's your taint. And he's like, what's that?
They just say if you experience testicle explosion, call your doctor. What?
I love it. And then they're like, and also may cause death. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's always the last one.
Because you're going to want to kill yourself after that.
Taint
of course
tearing,
it causes
testicle explosion, death.
Yeah, your taint's going to rip out. You're going to hemorrhage from your ass. Then you're going to die.
Yeah, then you're going to want to kill yourself.
But you're not going to have that migraine again. So you're good.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Have we talked about anything about the bands?
I know. I feel like we got away from the band stuff, but we really didn't have. I feel like we covered a lot of that in the last one. You do have this notebook here. I don't know if you wanted to read some poetry out of that.
I don't think we probably should on air, but
I want to just show it if that's okay.
Go ahead. It's right there. Go ahead.
What does that say? The white what?
I don't know. It was like I used to buy a lot of merch from Deep Elm Records, and they used to just give you all the free stickers. So it's just like Deep Elm bands from back in the day. I
remember being jealous of this. I wanted the Watashi Watts sticker.
Yeah.
You guys remember playing with them?
Yep. Yeah, because I remember.
Look at that Motion City sticker there before.
Oh man,
the Motion City soundtrack sticker before they made it big.
A lot of this is like recording notes, like tracks.
Yeah, the last album, like all the BPMs are on the back. And I was like, that actually might come in handy.
Okay, I gotta say, so this is something. A lot of our songs made no sense when I started singing because I just was taking fortune cookies and making songs out of them. I don't know.
There's a few lyrics in there. If you read the fortune cookie, you're like, oh, I know where that line.
So I don't know if this was me that did this or you.
It was me.
Okay, then I stole that idea.
I used
from
to just
you.
buy the bags of fortune cookies because I like fortune cookies, and when I'd get one that was like, oh, that's kind of clever, I would just tape it in there.
Find release.
There you go.
I can't even get through it. Find release from your cares. Have a good time. That's a song. That's $1 million song right there.
Probably.
Some Chainsmokers song or something.
Yeah.
Your mind is creative, original, and alert. I don't know. I guess it was just, it sounded profound.
Rolling Stones did something similar. They would just like come up with phrases that they liked, and then they would organize those phrases, and that's how they would write their songs.
But that's like old school fortune cookies. Now you read them and you're like, you're not even saying anything.
Yeah. You're doing okay.
Yeah, it's like
what's with the lucky numbers they always had? Like four, like you know how many people
whoever won lottery
played those numbers and were pissed.
This was supposed to work. Wait, is that an FM Static? Did you guys ever even listen to them? I didn't either.
At that time, it was just free stickers. I'm just bummed that the #1 fan sticker I wasted on that notebook.
Don't you hate that?
Yeah, I'm like, that's still one of my favorite bands. Sweet. One good album, but they're still one of my favorite bands.
Watashi Wa's album is still really good.
Yeah.
This is my hand
like that one.
Lakes was like their reiteration that he had
like a different
after that
band though. Like Lakes was another band, right?
I mean, it's still
them.
Seth.
The guy.
Yeah.
He just put out some new stuff recently too, but it was under a different pseudonym or something.
Yeah, I mean, we were into that way before.
I enter the courtyard and gather the sick ones. the ones that bleed from inside. They say to me, sir, please, for I've done nothing. Tell me, what is my crime? And I say at them, I say at them as they are worthless, like cracks among the walls. Because I am a robot without any feeling and only motive to kill.
Damn.
I thought I was going to end something good there. I wrote that, by the way, apparently, because this is my handwriting.
Yeah, all of our handwriting.
Thanks for not using that one in the song. It's great.
Yeah, that one was a little dark.
It was
That would have
good
been
at the beginning.
cool. It'd been like a pop punk song, and then people read the lyrics. Are like, "Oh yeah, this is my band finally."
This is dark.
It was dark. I don't know what I was talking about.
So happy and so sad.
I hadn't even smoked weed at this time. Once.
It's funny though, like most things that like you put together like that creatively, like still, no matter how you say it or which way you say it, it always sounds like it's done by somebody who's high. No matter what it is.
I had a guy one time that I worked with asked me, like I was the creative director, he was the graphic designer. He's like, "How do you do this not stoned?" That's what he said to me. I was like, that's just always how I've done it, because I guess he was always stoned.
Wow.
I was like, cool.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
How are you creative, not high? I was like, I am, I guess. I don't know. High off life. Coffee, caffeine.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it's a drug.
Dude,
It is.
mixing marijuana and caffeine. Whew. Look out, world.
Go.
Just spitballing ideas left and right. Come up with 4 different businesses
Before lunch.
before lunch, yeah.
After
It's
lunch,
like
you already forgot what you
it's like a
created.
Pez dispenser,
So that's what I.
but instead of Pez, it gives you notes for the rest of the day. High idea.
I thought you were gonna say more weed. Like
More
weed.
Now that actually
No, I
might
said
work.
it without saying it. I got to meet Marshawn Lynch the other day. I
Really?
figured I'd take advantage of this
Dude,
downtime.
that's cool.
Yeah, he came to our show. I told you guys about this, didn't I?
When
I
you
don't
walked
think
in,
we
you
were
were
on
telling
air.
me about it when you walked in.
I don't think we were. I don't think we were
No.
recording. But yeah, he came to our show last Saturday, and he was a super nice guy. But then I was trying to impress him with my scooter.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, and you broke the.
I
yeah,
broke
that's
my
right.
scooter in front of him. It was hilarious.
That's how it's supposed to sound.
Yeah, that's it.
Now you're like, now I have to
meant
push
to
this
do
home.
that. Yeah,
How'd you get it home?
I left it there.
Oh
I had to come
my-
pick it up the next morning.
Oh my gosh.
I had to call
By
my
the way,
wife. I was like, my scooter. I'm a grown man, nearly in his 40s, calling his wife because his scooter broke down.
Listen, I was looking at scooters the night after the last
Yeah, he
podcast.
was.
I was even sending Ryan like,
did.
"Hey, this one's like $800."
Yeah,
Dude.
they're fun.
No. I would kill myself.
Well, my oldest broke both of his arms Thursday in an e-scooter accident.
No.
Yeah.
Damn.
He was riding. He had like they're doing football conditioning at school because he's going into high school.
Yeah.
So they have to be there at like 7. So he just gets on the e-scooter and like rides it. We're right around the corner from the school. Apparently, the bolt that goes down through the handlebars into the front tire had backed its way out, and he hit a bump, and the whole handlebars came off. And
So he wasn't even doing something stupid. It
no,
was-
and it wasn't
that's
even
usually how
like
it
it
is.
wasn't even operator
accident.
error, or he wasn't trying to.
Well, that's why I thought most cities got rid of those because of so many bad things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I can see why they-
I mean, it's my scooter. I got it because I got bad knees and can't ride the bike
It
with
was.
kids.
Yeah, it wasn't a city scooter.
Oh, I thought it was a
his
city
scooter.
one. Okay.
No, it's like one. Like I mean, it's a nice one that I bought.
Yeah,
but
okay.
yeah, it.
Dang. I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'll be
So-
getting a getting a Vespa.
So he
anytime
probably
soon.
won't even be able to play this year, then, will he?
Maybe,
It'll be close.
I mean, they don't start actual training like until August, so the surgeon thinks he'll be fine. So
Your kids
Okay.
play any sports?
No, thank God.
let me tell you,
No, we
It's a
have
struggle.
No, we have tried because it's like the thing you do, and I promised I would never force my kids to play sports because I felt like I was forced a little bit because of my size, and I just didn't like it, especially football. Hated it. Did not like hitting other people. Did not like getting hit.
I like the fact that you guys are dads who don't besmirch your kids from playing video games. Like
Well, my son makes money playing video games.
that rules.
I mean, like,
But like I was talking to this one guy. He's a dad. And he was like, "Yeah, I make sure my kid goes outside. I make sure he doesn't play video games too long." I'm like, "Why? Like that's kind of dumb. You can learn so much from playing video games: problem solving, critical thinking, hand-eye coordination, teamwork. There's so much to be learned from playing video games.
Yeah.
And you're the one who's saying, "Oh, my kid just goes outside." Your kid's gonna know how to throw a stick, and your kid's gonna be a dumb, barbaric idiot.
Do you know what I think too when parents say that? Liar.
Yeah. Oh,
Most
yeah.
of the time, I'm like, "You're a liar." Screen time's down to nothing. I'm like, "Bullshit."
He backpedaled pretty quickly after I said that. He's like, he plays some games.
See.
Well, I don't get some of these or the guys who are mad at participation trophies. Why? Because you want your kid to feel like shit the same way you did when everyone told you were a fucking failure, like for trying something. Is that what you want? It's getting angry over here.
Yeah.
I don't understand how why we have to make kids feel stupid for trying because you felt like an asshole.
One thing I teach is failure is something that you need to get comfortable with.
That's 95% success.
That's the hard part. I mean, because I deal with people that have come that I've hired that are of a younger generation, and they just don't understand when something doesn't go their way, and it's like I guess their whole life it's all been catered to them, and then when they get in the real world, and you're like, well, that's not how we do it here. Yeah. And what?
Oh yeah.
What
So
is it? Here's a good example. Michael Jordan. He won 6 rings, right? Mm-hmm. But he played 15 seasons in the NBA. What were those 9 other seasons? Complete failures? No. That's how you should. The road to success being successful is your ability to endure failures. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
Those other seasons are the seasons when he decided to pass the ball.
Or he retired one of them. He just wasn't there.
He came back in his 50s at the Wizards or whatever.
The year he didn't win when he was playing baseball.
Yes.
It was really funny.
He was terrible at baseball.
He was god awful.
I mean, a 6'6" outfielder. I mean, it's good on paper.
Yeah,
get over that wall.
Right.
Just like
the
LeBron,
guy can jump.
Didn't the Browns want LeBron at one point?
I don't know.
Well, he had the choice. He could have gone either into professional basketball or professional football because of his size. But
I think he made the right choice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, let's not go down that road. Who's the greatest of all time? Let's not do it. We're not a sports podcast here, are we?
No,
right?
And I don't know anything about it really.
Jordan or LeBron?
I'm a Jordan person. That's just my age.
Yeah, I've never been in sports.
But you know how you were talking
I don't
earlier?
know what the criteria is. To be honest, I don't know what the deciding factor is of who's the best in the NBA.
It depends on who you talk to.
Oh, okay.
Because some people will be like, it's the 6 championships. That's their only argument for Jordan, right, Josh? Because you're a Jordan guy. but then
Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of
when you were alive.
My young generation. So that.
But then
it's nostalgia
LeBron has every
stat
in the world. He's at the top.
Yeah,
even stats.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying for me that's my preference.
I don't care.
Some people can make an argument for Shaquille O'Neal or Charles Barkley.
I met Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
That guy is such a good football player that I know who he is.
Wasn't he the one that he was like, I'm just contractually obligated to be here, and kept saying that in that press conference because
was he?
I'm pretty sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they made him go to an after game press conference, and he didn't want to be there, but they're like, you have to. It's part of your contract. And that's every time anybody asked him anything, that's how he would answer the question.
That's amazing. Wow. I love that.
Yeah. That's when I was like, I like this guy.
The guy rules.
Fine, I got to sit here. I'll sit here. That's it.
He's being honest. You
I
want
think it's generational about the kids too. Just like with like you said about TV shows
Mhm.
and stuff that's not made for us. I think some parents don't see that when it comes to like devices and video games and things like that, because we were all doing something when were younger.
Mhm.
We were all doing something. We were into something, and there was probably something that our parents didn't want us to do all the time that we did do, and everything worked out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the same way now. People are so against like the phones and the tablets, and while I do think there is some limits you need to set, they are kids at the end of the day. So I don't let them choose certain things, but you have to set some limits, but I do think they can be really good and really helpful, like playing video games and
yeah, it just
knowing how to
shows
use
that-
technology and things like that.
Well, that just shows you're involved with your kids, and you take interest in what they take interest in.
Yeah,
As opposed to this other guy who was just like, yeah, I don't like what my kid plays video games because he doesn't play video games.
right.
So that's why he doesn't want his kid playing video games, because he doesn't know how to connect with him
Right.
on that.
Mine just beats me at him, and I'm like, damn it!
Oh, see, I can still beat mine. Like that's.
Well, I was, and then he'll like
Well, yours plays.
well,
a lot more than
Fortnite
mine
though,
does.
I'll never. Calvin is
That's
really good.
That's too fast. Like, I used to be real heavy in my 20s into Call of Duty, and then in my 30s, I'm like, I'm gonna get the new Call of Duty game. I got on there, I'm like, oh, I have lost my reflex time.
Yeah.
I always
These kids
knew-
are crazy.
I always knew I'd surround myself around the kind of people who like to talk about beating their kids.
Well, since we're talking, no.
Yeah,
No.
I know you meant in video
No.
games.
It was funny because I like. He always
gonna
he always
say,
wants to
like,
play
what?
Madden. He's like, "You want to play Madden?" I'm like, "Sure." And then I'll just proceed to kick his ass. And then of course, he's 14, so I got to trash talk a little. Score a touchdown, you got to stand up and do a touchdown dance, and he just
Yeah,
stares
dude.
at me like, I'm like, "What? This is you wanted to play?"
He's lucky you don't spike the goddamn controller.
It's
You
only
want to
because I
know
paid
why
for it.
you can spike the goddamn controller? Because it's your goddamn
Yeah.
controller. You paid for it because you're a man.
oh man.
I've broken a few controllers in my day.
I like when Jackson will do like a one-liner, like he'll like roast me, and then I'll roast him back.
Yeah.
He does not like that. He does not like that, especially if his mom laughs too.
Yeah, because like
So
Connor's
funny.
getting close to my size.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day he was doing something. I'm like, and he was like kind of stepping. I'm like, you want to go? You think you can take me? Like, you think so? We can try this.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's going to come a day where that's going to backfire on you.
I know. He's got about another 6 inches, and he's gonna be the same height as me.
Oh, and plus I make my boys are 6'3" and
Yeah.
6 foot, and I make them work out every day. So that's my bad
I was gonna say,
because they're homeschooled, and we
That's gym class then.
well, you got to get movement. That's the other thing. I told Calvin, if you are going to be a streamer, look at these other streamers. They work out religiously because they know they're sitting all day. If you're streaming, you're usually sitting there for 4 hours at a crack. Like if you're streaming.
Mhm.
So, and then Jackson's like into reptiles, which is like crazy. We have 2 giant snakes at our house.
Ugh.
that rules.
It's
It's
pretty
also
cool.
better lessons to be learned by just going, like, and working out at a gym than it is to play a sport, in my opinion. Because eventually you grow out of playing sports.
Oh yeah,
You never grow out of exercising.
right. It's a good skill I wish was instilled in me instead of sports
Mhm.
that I wish I would have had. That I'm trying to instill in them. So, just and giving them routine. Like as a creative person, I always thought I didn't need routine. Totally need it.
Yeah, for
Totally
sure.
need it.
I don't know. I just feel like some of these parents say these things because they feel like they're supposed to, or like it's cool to say it in front of other parents. And I'm like,
We're all just winging it.
It sounds dumb as hell.
We're all, and that's the thing. I said that recently to my wife. I'm like, I'm old enough now to remember my dad at my age,
Yeah.
and you
weird.
like he knows everything. Yeah, and then now I'm like, I'm the same age as you were. You knew nothing. Like,
Right.
you were just making it up as you went along,
Right.
trying to do the best you could.
Yep.
You
I
know,
will say
which was
that-
nice that I didn't notice that, but
Right.
like you just try to do the best you can. That's all you can do.
I guess that's one nice thing about my dad is that he never really claimed he knew anything. That was kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually say, I don't like claim to know these things,
Mhm.
but like, I do think I like to let them into my psyche a little bit more than most parents, because I want them to know I am struggling. If I do fail them and I need to apologize, I will. Most parents will not do that. That's like, oh,
I bet your kids are very mature because they don't hang out with kids all that often. So when they,
don't.
you know what I mean? Like, so they're around adults all the time.
Yeah.
And you can only talk to them like children for so long.
Oh, we have great
So
conversations.
you eventually drop that facade of talking to them like a kid, and you talk to them like any other person in the room.
Mhm.
And then eventually they grow up to have those skill sets like they would a normal full-fledged adult. So I'm sure they're a little bit socially, I'm sure they're a little bit more ahead than most kids in public schooling.
Yeah, we noticed with public schooling with Jackson first, because Calvin's younger, that it was changing his personality.
Mm.
And I said, hell no. And I pulled him right out. I'm like, you're not going to. I remember what it did to me. I just didn't. I never had, you know, because we commiserated over stuff like that, but never had a good time in school ever. And people always hail it as, oh, those were the good old days and all that stuff. I'm like, fuck that.
Never said that
No, I
about
like-
school.
What were you remembering? That was terrible for me. I hated it. And I just didn't want it to change
College
my
was fun.
personality.
I liked
But-
being homeschooled. I really did.
Yeah.
I loved it.
My wife was homeschooled from second grade all the way to the end.
Yeah, same.
So,
Well, I had to go to Tri-C early.
Mm.
Sophomore year of high school, I started going to Tri-C, which that was a huge culture shock. But in that first semester, I struggled really hard just because sensory overload. You know, going from your room by yourself to a room filled with what you perceive as adults
yeah.
is a lot.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, these girls have boobs.
Yes.
Yeah, this rules. But I don't know how to talk to them, so I'll never figure that out. And then I just like get nervous and inside my own head. And, you know, next thing you know, you're 38 years old talking about it on a couch.
At least you're not paying somebody.
Am
to
I the
talk
only
about
one
it.
here who's. Wait, you're 40.
Yeah,
Okay.
just turned 40.
I'll be 38 in August.
39 in June, or June 22nd.
I don't know about you guys, but as I've loved every decade, the next decade more than the last. For me, that's how it's been. Except for this last year when I had to have back surgery. That fucking sucked. That month and a half was the worst thing I've ever been through in my
Yeah.
life.
When your body starts catching up with you, you're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That was dark times.
I got an appointment Tuesday to see my rheumatologist, so it's fun.
I just scheduled my first colonoscopy.
There you go. So here you go.
What the? Why?
Old man talk.
Next week or 2 weeks from now.
I haven't set up a
Sure, you
doctor
don't mean-
appointment yet because I don't want to get fingered in the butthole. I know it's coming.
Dude, I
More than
know.
a finger, my friend.
I know it's coming.
I'm gonna bring my own Vaseline.
You
I
might.
like a certain brand.
I try.
Use this one.
I don't even look for the best doctor. I just try to find the doctor with the smallest fingers.
Do you like Pete Holmes?
I do like Pino. He's
Okay,
very
I just
funny.
saw an old sketch of his the other day where he's the patient. It's just this other guy. He's his doctor, and he's just lubing up his hand. Like he's just in the Vaseline, like. And Pete Holmes is talking to him, and like finally, he's like, "You think that's too much Vaseline?" in his ends. Like, oh god.
Oh, it's just this sketch.
That was it. Yep.
That's amazing.
His new special's really good.
Yeah, that dude's very funny.
The joke about the Doritos, the sex battery chips.
I see. He's one of those comics where I cannot watch because the reason why is that when I watch him,
You want to take it?
all that seeps into me, and then next thing you know, I'm on stage and I'm doing him,
Yeah.
and then I have to try and shed that for like a month. It sucks.
Mm.
He is very. I forget what it was. It was one of his specials I listened to, and then like the next day I was out doing like a mic, and I was like, "Oh, I'm doing him. I got to not do that."
Yeah. I mean, you guys probably remember like opening up for certain bands and doing the same thing.
Mhm.
Trying
Yep.
to mimic, like we're like, that looks pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's try that.
Yes.
Nope, we shouldn't have did that because we did not know how to do that.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we wore eyeliner with the loud
Oh God!
and it
yes.
wasn't waterproof?
That was because
Fucking hurt, bro.
You all look
Like,
like
it was,
Tammy Faye Baker just running down your eyes.
I didn't have a chance to because it was all in our eyes. It was the
Oh
worst
man,
thing.
what a great
Yeah, that was
reference.
I know,
terrible.
sorry, that's my
That
age
was-
That was a
showing.
great reference.
That was
yeah,
the
that
night.
was like
We drove home, and you quoted the entire movie of Liar Liar to keep us awake.
I don't remember that.
Oh, Rachel still remembers that.
Really?
Yeah, because we were all so tired. We're driving home from Toledo. You said the entire movie.
Wow.
Liar Liar.
Wow.
I
How
believe
many
it.
times did you watch that thing?
That's
I
his
probably
favorite
still could
movie.
do that. It's a great movie.
Mama. That's my favorite part. Dude.
Oh God.
Oh.
I love it.
That's so funny. Yeah, you don't remember doing that.
I don't remember doing that, but I'm sure I feel like I did it a lot, and that was just one of the times I
Start to
did it.
finish.
It's impressive.
That is
was,
impressive.
dude.
I didn't know you went that far.
Oh yeah, that and
You used to quote it a lot, but I didn't know.
yeah.
I've never heard it in order.
Yeah, I think I know that better than Tommy Boy. Yeah, that movie is.
Such a great movie.
That's
I just recently showed that to Calvin. I showed it to Jackson before, but it holds
It's
up.
great.
It holds up.
I was at the Apple store the other day. I have a Callahan Auto. I thought I had it. Yeah,
Like
it's this
shirt?
Callahan Auto Parts hat, and I wore it to the Apple store. And this older guy there, he's like, "Oh yeah, great movie." Most
Nice.
people don't; they just think it's a
I
real
have the
place.
shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah, no one knows what it is.
but he's like, "Oh yeah, it's a great
Holy
movie." I was like,
shit.
"Yeah, I watch it. I watch it
I
at least
just
once
saw
a
somebody
year."
with a T-shirt on that, and it never even registered in my head. I'm like, Callahan's. That sounds familiar. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
why.
Most people go, "Oh,
I'm
yeah."
not
Yeah, it has
talking
great
about
brake
anything.
pads.
They make good parts. Or,
Yeah.
Well, the
But yeah.
owner died, but
Son was a little messed
it was
up,
a good
but it's
company
okay.
before their owner passed away.
the jackass son took over.
It's got to have the guarantee on the box. That's my favorite scene.
It's a great movie.
I
One of
love
the
the at the guy's desk. Woo! And he's like, lights it on fire. Oh my
Speaking
gosh.
of ripping people off, he definitely was ripping off Belushi all the time.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize that because kind of going back to like what we were saying, like I didn't watch John Belushi, or
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
different
that was-
generations
that
got
was
different.
the '70s version of SNL.
Oh, if you go back and watch I did this when I was laid up with my back. I went back and watched 90s SNL with like Spade, Sandler,
Mhm.
Farley.
It's funny. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it holds up.
But it's hit and miss.
It's very hit or
It
miss.
is.
Just
It
like
is.
right now, there's some of these sketches where you're like, what the fuck is this? I was like, this is the
Really?
worst. Yes.
Yeah, and
this
that's
is
the
the
thing is
worst
you-
thing I've
you-
ever seen.
They were
I
all
did not
like
see that coming.
Dude, I was shocked. I was
Every-
like, oh, this is going to be epic. I'm going to love every episode. I turned it off.
Every generation Saturday Night Live's like
I'm gonna
that.
have
There's
to
always a
rewatch
couple.
You should
Yeah.
go back and let me know what you think.
I have
I
never
will.
watched a full whole episode. I mean, like that was great from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Because
There's
when
some that you're like, okay, that's not for
I
me.
guess the only thing I've watched recently of like that era of SNL was like on YouTube clips.
but
Yeah.
don't you think
Those
like,
are the heavy hitters.
you
know?
write comedy?
Yes.
Okay, so think about it. You got a week to write an hour episode of sketches that are supposed to be amazing.
Yeah.
You got to integrate a guest star. There's going to be one or two that are going to hit.
No joke. This SNL is it. Everybody talks about it. It's the most difficult job in show business,
I've heard that.
next to the Tonight Show.
That
Those
makes
are the
sense.
two most difficult shows to work on.
Yeah.
People lose their minds. No joke. Like writers lose sense of all who they are. Like I've watched people fucking lose their shit. What can I not think of her name? But I had a friend who she was on. She was a writer for the Tonight Show for a while, and she lost her fucking mind, dude. Like I've never seen anybody go from like being just a well-rounded, responsible individual to being just reckless and just like beside themselves. It was wild to watch.
Yeah.
It was, that's a tough. Those are tough jobs, and they have to like go through all that and then put on a smile and go out there and perform it on top of that. Of all the pressure and all the shit that you go through, and then again having a new guest every week
Yep.
or a new host.
You got to hope you get along with them
Yeah,
and all
or-
that stuff.
Figure out
Yeah.
a way to highlight them.
The
Hopefully they-
pressure of making it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just because
or
you
like-
wrote something funny doesn't mean it's going to make it to the show.
And it's
Right.
live.
And then if you get too many of those in a row,
You're gone. Well,
Yeah.
just think about it. How crazy is it that I think it was David Spade, Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, and somebody else all fired at the exact same time?
Yeah.
I mean, That's crazy to me. I don't even know how that's
At the
possible.
peak of their careers.
Yeah.
It
That's
must
just
be
how they do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like there's no rhyme or reason. Just sometimes like he's just like, "F- it, I'm gonna fire half my staff. They've reached to the point where they shouldn't be here any longer.
Yeah.
They need to go on and do greater things outside of this building.
But it wasn't that though. Like Sandler said, it was bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was not a good like. Hey, you guys are doing great. You guys need to go. It was just like, nah, you're gone, kind of a thing.
Hmm.
I don't know if they're like if there was any ill will, but as you know, like Sandler has his own movie production company, so he never had to worry about Lorne Michaels anymore.
Right.
So, and then Farley died. So, and then Spade's still kind of riding on the Sandler train.
Pretty much.
I would.
Yeah.
He had it in the 90s though.
He's still funny.
Joe Dirt?
Just shoot me, and like he did a lot of TV stuff. Joe Dirt,
Just
yeah.
shoot me.
I watched
Yeah.
him do stand up recently, and he was McMahon. He's still got it. He's still funny.
Yeah.
Oh, he did a movie on Netflix called The Wrong Missy. Have y'all seen that
I
one?
have not seen it.
What's it called?
It's called The Wrong Missy.
I heard it was.
Oh, that was
funny.
great. Yes.
That was actually really
that was
funny.
hilarious.
I'll have to watch that.
But it was more because of the female lead. She's
Yeah.
a stand up. I
Yeah,
can't.
she's funny.
If you saw her, you'd know her right away.
Yeah, she's on SNL right now, I think.
Is she?
Or she was. I think she was.
She
from
was.
SNL.
She was on Big Bang toward the end of it going off the air. She was Stewart's girlfriend. I don't know if you guys watch Big Bang Theory. No.
Not
She's
that I have
kind of-
anything
not
against
enough
it,
to
I just
remember who that
didn't-
was.
She's kind of like funny
It was
looking,
decent.
which
I heard it was good. I
Yeah,
just
it was
never
decent.
got into it.
Young Sheldon was actually really good for the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then it went.
it was really raunchy. That's all I remember. I
What?
watched it. Wrong Missy.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you
Yeah.
meant Young Sheldon. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
no,
wow.
no.
I thought they were in the deep
A lot of
south.
dick
I feel like
jokes
I'm back
for
at
that little
Pearlbrook.
child.
This is raunchy. They said, damn.
Pearlbrook.
They showed.
Should
they
I
showed
even
a
say?
thigh.
No, I'm not going to.
What are you guys saying?
No, I
Bro,
talk
let's
about.
go. No, I'm just
We
kidding.
talk about Pearlbrook a lot on here.
Really?
me and
Why?
Tim.
Oh, because
Yeah, because well, also
What
so
does Tim?
people listening?
Oh, is he gonna hear this? What does Tim say about Pearlbrook? I would love to hear that.
Oh, well, everything that happened with him.
Yeah.
I mean, what is there to say? I mean,
Oh, okay.
I mean,
He's like, yeah, I was there when it happened. That's all he says. That's like I was there at that time. I don't
yeah, I mean, it was what happened. I mean, the way that he was kind of like kicked out from what happened. I mean, I get it.
Did they really kick him out?
From what I understand, and I'll just repeat this because he's talked about it on here, is when after he got the youth pastor's daughter pregnant, which he's talked about on here as well. I don't mind echoing.
Ayo. No.
Yeah,
Kings are gonna king.
they made him step down. They made him step down from playing guitar and
Okay.
okay, and I guess that was why he got upset and eventually left.
Mm.
Uh,
Because there shouldn't be consequences for your actions.
Yeah, there should be. But I think the way that some of the people there that approached him, and
Yeah.
one
I'm sure it
person
went
said,
bad.
"Hey,
Yeah.
I would never talk."
they didn't
like,
know how
They didn't have a gentle touch.
yeah.
Well,
So
some
But I hope he never hears this. Well, we were talking about Cass earlier, but he went through a similar situation. Now, he didn't get anyone pregnant at Neo Church, which Neo Church, I don't even know if is a thing anymore. But somebody found out that he had sex with his girlfriend.
yeah,
And he was kind of like publicly humiliated. And that's one of the reasons we left, because we were like, that's not how you handle this.
yeah. I would most likely go somewhere else if I were him. We were also,
But more just out of like, okay, it's my uncle Dino. He was gay, and so was his brother. And when his brother died of AIDS, he turned away from that life. But when he turned away from that life, he had to move. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when
Yeah.
something that big happens in your life, sometimes that's just like you have to get out of there. And probably for Tim,
yeah,
he couldn't go on there, especially because of
Why
the
would
way
you want to?
Right.
the way people acted there too. They didn't know how to handle that stuff.
right,
Yeah.
A lot of
Especially the
hypocrisy.
pastors and the leadership.
I didn't know Tim was so cool.
yeah.
Knocked up the
Such
pastor's
a badass
daughter. That's the coolest thing I've ever
youth
heard.
pastor.
It's still.
Come on, that's down the
Yeah, still.
church hierarchy here. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyone can be a youth pastor.
Actually, yes. If there's anything my views,
wanna go there?
Tell you.
They can. I was for a litll while.
I'm saying
Were you youth pastor?
No. I was just thinking of another one that they had that we don't usually talk about.
That was also.
So why is he like the Voldemort around here? Like you don't talk about him?
I don't.
I just talked to him the last time I was here.
Oh no.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
We're talking about him, like you would have to talk to him
He's
through
talking about-
glass,
he's talking
and
about
there's a
Jeremy.
phone.
He's mentioning Jeremy.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that is
sitting
he
right
like
yeah,
here.
well,
not
Different
G?
one.
we talked about
J
it on.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
not G.
Yeah, you guys. I think you've brought him up
We
before.
did bring it up on your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was like very like we don't talk about it kind of thing. But you know,
Let's talk about it.
the weird thing in my mind for him and I've used this lesson with my kids
Yeah,
is I'm like the actions of a person on the outside and what you see are not always what's in their heart.
yeah.
And Jeremy is the biggest example. Not you, Jeremy. The other Jeremy.
Yeah.
Just want to make that clear,
Jeremy with the
podcast.
J.
It starts getting muddled.
So that is just it's always in my mind.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Christian, dude.
Oh,
like
yeah, and
he,
not only
he could
that
do
was-
no wrong.
Mr. Yeah.
And to be clear, they're not talking about me.
Yeah,
Not
definitely
not
not
this
you.
Jeremy. Just want to say this.
Well, that
again.
does sound a little like me back in my time.
Hey,
Oh.
no,
No,
you don't know
no.
the details.
Yeah, this guy.
Oh,
first
so
of
we
all,
won't
let
get
me-
details. Let's just say it like this. Let's just say it like this. This person, it was found out that he had very inappropriate relationships of a sexual nature with children.
So to be clear, they're not talking
Definitely not
about me.
talking about you.
Clear, not him.
Not Jeremy the
And
G.
and he is going to
Bombshell.
he's going to serve life in prison for it.
Oh.
That's how many
Yeah.
counts there were. Because he's,
Holy
I don't know if you guys
guacamole.
follow it, but he's been up for parole several times.
Every
Always
once in a
gets
while,
Yeah.
I'll
Always
be
gets
like,
denied parole.
let me just go find him in the court system just
Yeah.
to see, like in the jail system to see.
And he has so many sentencings against him. He's never getting out.
That's yeah. He
rightfully
was up
so.
for parole recently,
Yeah.
and it just always gets denied, and it will always get denied unless the victims come back and say,
This
we're
didn't
good.
actually happen.
or no, we're good. Just let him go now.
Yeah.
They have to say something. I
Yeah.
think is what has to happen.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But to me, that's just like such a crazy thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then when you think back, guys, like all the times in the band and stuff,
Oh,
of things that happened.
the laptop?
Yes, the
That's
laptop
the
of his
laptop.
search history.
We were
The
traveling.
laptop's the one.
Where
That,
were we going to Toledo or something?
We were
Or-
going
We
somewhere.
were coming back from that
Michigan?
hillbilly festival we played,
Oh,
where the guy said he should tape the mic to his face because it was like down. It was down past Columbus or whatever.
that happened.
That's-
Like
yeah,
we were literally on the back of like a hay trailer,
That's so funny.
and they didn't have mic stands. They didn't have any equipment. Like
that
if you would have
Godfest?
told us, we would have brought our own stuff.
He paid us.
Oh, yeah.
We got paid,
Yeah.
but we didn't play.
I do remember
Give an
going. I
expense
do remember
tape.
going to Steak and Shake afterwards with them, and he chain smoked cigarettes the whole time, even while he was eating.
Oh,
which was
yeah.
weird.
And this guy was like
this
Christian record producer. No, but he just owned a record label.
We made so many bad decisions, guys. This is
Yeah,
why
I
we didn't
know.
make it.
Fat Guy
That's why we
Records is
didn't
what we
make it.
called him.
Oh yeah,
Fat Guy
I remember
Records.
that.
We were kids. That was our best.
But we're driving home.
like from Wayne's World?
Huh?
Wasn't that they called Fat Guy Records? Anyway, they go on. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
It might be a real
No,
thing.
Fat Fish Records.
Fat Fish Records. Yes.
We're driving home. Like I said, Josh and I were pretty savvy on the computer, so we're looking at his internet search history.
which
and
is a
there's-
complete violation, really,
But
technically.
the laptop was there. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, we're bored, and we
And I
found
just
We had no
So-
internet. There was no Wi-Fi at the
And
time.
he's driving.
No
we
smartphones.
found something that said penis enlargement, and I'm like, we asked him. We're like, hey, what is this? He's like,
Listen, pop-up's
this is what he
happening.
said. Do you remember what he said?
I do.
No.
You do. What did he say?
I'm not-
He said that.
It was his stepmom.
Yeah, he said it was
Oh,
Kathy.
yeah. That's even worse.
And I was like,
He blamed his stepmom
Yeah,
for
he
being on his
did.
computer.
Well, his stepmom has a huge hog.
No, she needed a bigger one.
Yeah.
and I'm like,
God.
never. But you know, it was funny at the time, and then we never thought anything about it. And then I remember another specific time.
Yeah.
The whole band was staying at my house on Brook Park Road. Only one room had air conditioning, so we were all sleeping in there. He wouldn't sleep in there with us. Do you remember that? He slept out on the couch. He would not sleep in there with us
Wow. That's
No, I don't.
creepy to
I don't
me.
remember that.
I
but-
do.
because now it's like,
Was he tempted to?
well, yeah. Is it true? Now let me ask you this. You can cut this out if you want. Somebody told me that he came out to your mom as gay? Never happened.
No, because my mom was completely blown away.
I'm
when
sure.
this happened.
I'm
she
sure.
had no idea.
I mean,
Okay.
everybody. I mean, let's be
So
honest,
someone
a lot
told
of
me.
people
This is
were.
what someone told me.
Yeah.
You can leave this in or
It'd
keep
be
it out if
weirder
you
if
want.
she knew.
My mom was. Yeah.
Someone told
She's
me.
like, yeah, he diddles kids.
No. He didn't say anything about that, but he came out as gay, and your mom said you're not gay. You just need to like pray about it.
Maybe that happened, but I don't.
Because
recall that.
like it sounds like something someone at Pearlbrook would say. It's
Yeah.
almost like when
You're not gay.
someone's like, "Hey, I feel like I'm going to commit suicide," and you go to them and you're like, "Nah, you're not."
It's a double talking.
I gotta use the restroom.
So, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I totally gotta. Do you want us to pause? Like, wait for him. Okay.
Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, right.
It's like that, like, you know, and I could just hear someone at Pearlbrook saying that. No, you're not. You're
Oh, 100%.
just pray it away.
But I mean,
Yeah.
anybody in that organization, I believe, would have said the same thing.
100%. 100%. And the fact that no one knew it was going on is even more just. It was. I think it was for anyone involved who knew Jeremy, especially your mom,
Yeah.
was like, it hit you like in your chest. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It was.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean,
like,
I think out of all of us, I probably hung out with him the most.
yeah.
Just
Really?
because he used to pick me up all the time and give me rides, like the different stuff at church or whatever. I don't remember what it was, but for some reason, I don't
Yeah.
know. He'd come by in his, his blue Cavalier, and we would just drive and talk. And it was just I was like besides that computer thing, I didn't see anything. He put up a good front.
Yeah.
You didn't see it.
Yeah.
And that was the shocking thing, is like, you don't
Well,
know.
one thing he said to Laura was, and I remember this too, when she brought it up, I was like, oh my. He said that he wanted to invent a website where kids could come to and go on field trips virtually.
remember that. He wanted to make his own website.
Yep. That was a real thing.
To go
That
on
happened.
field trips on the internet.
How did that not, like, just.
Field trips on the
Epstein
internet.
took that idea and ran with it.
Damn.
bad joke.
Wow. So he definitely knew the social media thing was going to catch on.
Yeah, that Jeremy knew.
Man.
He was in our band, though. He was, like, a keyboard player, and for a little while, we did. When was he in the band? See, that's
Inside
where-
40.
And that's when Jake was in the band too. Jake and Jeremy were in the
Yeah,
band
we had
for a
five
little
At
while.
one
people in
point,
the
yeah, I
band.
think at one point we got up to 5.
We had
people.
5 people.
And I think
believe it or not.
Jake, didn't. I knew he didn't want him in the band. He thought he was the most cringy, kind of like nerdy guy, and
Wasn't wrong.
he was not. He could play though.
Hindsight's
Oh, yeah.
20/20.
It'll never be for him though. He wore glasses.
Yeah, nerd. Only nerds wear glasses.
I always make fun of.
As him and I make
I make fun of Rachel for wearing glasses. In the last optometrist appointment she went to, I actually told the lady, I was like, "Let me try the little thing." She's like, "Wow, it's really you did way better than your wife." I guess the best. No, we had sex then. That was fine. No, it's like 2010 is the best though. 2010 is like what pitchers have, like baseball.
Really?
Yeah. It's 2020 is just like a thing that sounds cool.
It's also a news program.
Yeah. So it's like 2020 must be the best.
Yeah,
Like
they
she told me,
branded
she's
it.
like, "That's a myth. It's 2010, which is like
Yeah,
the best."
because that's like when my last eye doctor's appointment. I'm getting to that age where she's like, I think you may need a little extra boost. And by boost, she meant bifocals.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, I've reached that point in life where I've got progressive lenses, so you can't tell. But yeah, I started noticing I was pulling things away from my face to read them up close, and I'm like, I'm nearsighted, so I should be able to see it.
Wow.
oh fuck.
But yeah, then like the line, yeah,
for you.
yeah,
It's coming.
it's coming for you. Literally, I turned 40, and I'm like, okay, bifocals is what I got to get now. So
Damn.
yeah, well, it's nice to be able to see though. That was the thing, is even on your phone, you're like,
I was just
Yeah.
doing that earlier today before I came here.
yeah, you might want to talk to your
Yeah.
eye doctor.
I gotta call my doctor.
I'm good.
I remember that.
Do you wear any kind of corrective lenses?
My eyes are great. My ears suck. My eyes are like, I want to say I'm close to 20/20 vision.
I have 20/20. So like I'm not 20/10 or anything, but like I forget what Rachel was though. It's like something bad.
Yeah, oh, mine's horrible. I used to be able to, like, I could see up to like 3 feet in front of my face.
Yeah. Let's just say this lady's eyes are fucked up.
She is with me. So like,
So you're like hoping they give her the wrong prescription.
Yeah.
how does this look? Not good. Let's keep trying.
I don't even know what a vagina looks like up close, to be honest with you. Because, you know, like the lights go down, my glasses come off. It's all a blurry mystery down there to me.
Yeah, that's the best way.
You just gotta Stevie Wonder your way through it there.
You are in a forest. You are in a forest.
I just called.
Never even seen it.
So, anyways, why did we talk about Jeremy?
But what?
We were just talking about iterations of the band.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
So he was in it for. I know he came in. I remember the Sunday morning where we changed it to Insight 40. And do you remember why we changed it to Insight 40?
Yes.
I think he didn't he have a problem with the name? Or somebody did?
No one got why we called it Supernatural Conspiracy.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool name. No one got it. Everyone thought it was evil. The pastor definitely said we were going to hell, something like that. Something to that
like
effect.
Yeah.
This is the devil.
It seems so innate now. You know what I mean?
Now that
When we
right-wingers love that conspiracy talk.
When we named the record 19143, which just was the numeric numbers of SNC, they were like, "Oh,
Acronym,
that's definitely some version of 666."
Yeah, I remember there's some math they used.
Yep.
Some
I
advanced
think they did,
trigonometry
yeah.
to get that.
Yep. And the funny thing is, I remember like Brett. Is it Brett or Brent? Brett and Sandy.
Brent.
Yeah. Right.
Brent. Coming to my car and I was listening to like Supertones one time, and he's like, "Oh, that's a beginning from a Metallica song." And I'm like, I didn't even know that. So like the pastor's kids and in-law kids are all listening to the devil's music, obviously, and I'm not.
They had good taste.
In worshiping him.
They had good
Yeah,
taste in music,
worshiping
that's
him
all.
daily.
Yeah.
It's like craziness. But the hypocrisy there was so funny, is because it was like country was okay. Any kind of country music was fine.
Yeah.
But if you listen to Christian rock, that's the devil.
So I'll get drunk and I beat my
Yeah.
wife. And they're like, love it.
Love that song.
That's a great song. So good. Yeah, that Christian rock song where we talk about loving Jesus, put that down. I don't like that. It's
Yeah.
not right. It's not good.
It was weird when like I think when we recorded the Insight 40 album, my youth pastor,
Wasn't that your
not
mom?
you, but the
Other Jeremy.
Jeremy the molester.
Wait, wasn't your mom your youth pastor?
I think it was this is when Steve and Missy took over,
Oh,
and I was
okay.
still in the youth
Oh,
group.
okay.
Yeah,
Your mom is your youth
yeah,
pastor
because
for a while?
yeah.
He was always in everything very.
Oh, when I was a
young.
little kid, I was in youth, so forever. But then eventually, they took that from my parents. I think they gave them the young adults, and then they brought in their kids, the pastor's kids, to daughter and son-in-law to take over the youth. And
Ringers.
we made that album, and he got mad that I gave a copy to their son Josh, and yet his sisters were allowed to listen to Lil Wayne and all this other stuff.
Holy
So,
shit!
so what is like?
Wait, did he know about our enhanced CD with all the porn?
I think he did. Yes.
Taking this home. It's vintage now.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, I remember
What
that.
did he
And then
say?
said
Did he say
something-
anything about it?
Well, he said something to that Jeremy. He's like, "Well, that sucks. That CD, it sucks." I don't know. I guess they had a problem because we had a song called "Girls Are the Devil," so they got upset. And that was obviously a Waterboy reference, you know.
Yeah.
Girls are the devil, you know.
Right.
And yeah, I don't get that, but I think maybe they just didn't understand it. I don't know. I know my parents were never too fond of like, especially like Christian metal. Like they didn't like
They
the
didn't.
screaming.
I
and
don't
all
think
that.
they ever liked our band.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's. I get that, but I didn't understand. We were like pop punk. I didn't understand like why it was like.
I did get why your parents, like your mom, tried to help us. I get why your dad didn't like it. Definitely wasn't his style.
Yeah, I know.
But I was always kind of like, I wish he would have helped us because he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one thing I was like, you know, and I do think about that sometimes too. Like with my kids, I'm like, I do know a lot of stuff. I can teach them, and it can be really useful to them and
Right,
like
right.
help them out.
They
Even
won't.
though like I don't get it sometimes. Like, I mean, I was just always kind of wanting to because
Yeah.
Even though he's quiet, I liked your dad.
My dad's changed a lot, believe it or not. He's really calmed down a lot over the past couple of years. Well, probably 20 years. And I talked about this actually on an episode I did the other day. Just kind of like, obviously, I don't know anything about raising kids, but I don't think I'd raise my kids the way I was raised, at least not in the way. I don't know. My parents, they were supportive, but they just, I guess it's just that culturally, I think things are so different from their generation to ours compared to ours to now.
It's the same way. I mean, I'm feeling that now with my oldest. I'm like, he's into music and things like that, and I'm like, let me help you with that. I went to school for that. And no, I'm like, okay, like, I've got thousands of dollars of equipment sitting in the garage in boxes that I can help you set up and use, and I just show you the basics, and you can go with it.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And that no one thinks their parents are cool. Right, and the kids that do think their parents are cool, it's probably because they're being really bad parents. Yeah. It's like, they let me drink when I was 12. It's fine. It's like.
Are the kids a nerd?
Yeah.
This kid's a nerd. My parents are pretty badass, trust me.
And it just
my parents were pretty cool.
I mean, I think it's just generational. I try to raise my kids. I feel like I was raised pretty good. Was our childhood perfect? No, but I don't think anybody's is. Right. But I try to raise my kids better than I was raised, and in hopes that they raise their kids better than I raised them.
Right, right.
That's the progression of things. If you try to keep doing the same thing that, if I raised my kids the same way my parents raised me, they would be a completely different person because we're living in a different time and generation and different things. And, you have to evolve. Parenting has to evolve.
Yeah. Yep.
This is interesting though. Like, how do you guys navigate those waters of being like, oh, I really want to show this to my kid, or this is something my kid just needs to learn on his own? Like, how do you decipher or discern the two?
I try not to push it because my dad. Looking back on it, I probably should have taken about. He wanted me to play guitar. My dad's a guitar player, and I just was always like, I wanted to be a drummer, and then I didn't want to be a guitar player. And it wasn't until 14, 15, I think they got me a guitar for Christmas, and my dad was like, I'm just going to get him a guitar. If he plays it, he plays it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. And just let me go with it. And that's when I started, when it wasn't getting forced down my throat, that's when I was like, okay, I want to learn how to do this. Looking back on it, do I wish that I would have taken him up on learning all the things he knew? I probably would have been a better guitar player, but that's just kids being kids, I guess.
My dad said when he bought me my first electric guitar, he's like, either you were going to get really into it, otherwise I just got myself a really cool new guitar.
Yeah, I mean,
so it was like a win-win regardless.
Yeah.
I just look for the moments where they actually talk to me. And like try not to get too excited about it because I think they're really fucking cool, and I wish it was more like a friendship, but it can't be.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, but when there are nuggets or moments of time where we can talk or they're like interacting with me, I try to give my insight, not try to push like Josh said. And there are some things that they fight, but then they'll like come back to it. Like Jackson films all his own videos now for his own YouTube channel for his reptiles. He's in there holding his camera and holding his phone. I'm like, do you know how much equipment we have in this house? Like you said,
we got a tripod.
Like we got a lot of them. So finally I was like, hey, what about a ring light with, holder on there? Do you know how to get one of those? Like that kind of thing. And I'm like,
you're like, hold on. I think there's a closet full.
I do. There's like 1,000 on Amazon. I'll buy it for you. Oh, that's amazing. So you just look for those little moments where what's been really cool? Oh, there was one moment I wanted to talk about where Calvin asked me to play Festival with him on Fortnite.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, all right, yeah, cool, whatever. And then afterwards I was Rachel. Rachel, he asked me to play.
Yeah, no,
yeah. But like driving has been the thing where he has looked at me and Rachel now and he's like, they are really fucking smart. How do you like think about all this stuff at like one time while you're like driving? Like it's pretty easy, bro. Like, let me show you. Like, and that's been the thing. I think that's gonna like
blow his mind with the stick shift. You gotta hit this pedal and do this pedal.
Oh my god, yeah.
I never learned how to
Oh,
drive
never.
stick.
Me
You
neither.
drove stick.
I drove stick too.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I had that.
Don't understand why that's an option.
My first car was what was that? Ford Escort, that blue one, and
the one you like to miss red lights in. Do you remember that?
That was the van.
Okay.
That was the van.
We never
That was
got
an
hurt,
expensive
but I do
$300
remember.
Lindale ticket.
Oh, Lindale. Oh, is that still a thing?
It is. It is.
Speed trap?
That camera's still there.
They can't do it on the highway. They can't do it on the highway, so you can blow through there to 170 now. It's
my
great.
gosh.
But they still have a little booth. There was actually a local vape store recently that bought the billboard that's right above the train tracks there when you go under. And it's like, warning, this place has a speed real giant
yeah.
to
Oh,
just
wow.
screw them over. I was like,
Nice.
I know that owner got a ticket in Lindale and is really mad about it. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
purchased that. I'm like, that's the best revenge.
Wow.
No, but I had that blue Ford Escort that the starter wouldn't work, so I had to park on a hill. I remember Ryan. I had to grind everywhere. He'd have to push me, and then I had to pop the clutch to get it to start, and I'd pull back around and pick him up.
I do remember that.
Well, you had the tempo with the starter.
solenoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to use a
Screwdriver.
screwdriver to start it.
Nothing
Oh,
more
yeah, I
embarrassing than
remember
the
that
car
too,
stalling
yeah.
out in a live intersection, the light screen, and he's like, "Hold on, I
With the
gotta get
girl in the
screwdriver."
car.
Oh my god. Yeah, I remember that.
I think I had April in the car one time, and it got stuck in the middle of an intersection. No problem. Yep. Oh, we're good. I'm
Yikes.
like, oh.
No, I think driving is one thing that Connor. I mean, he's getting closer to that age. He's 14 and a half now, so.
Has he shown interest in it yet?
Oh, dude, he loves driving video games.
But I mean, like actually driving a car. Like,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He likes to go out and I'll let him move the car in the driveway if I need to move the car.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
We started early because
He's-
I didn't think either one of them would want to drive. Honestly. But Jackson was like, as soon as he turned 15, he's like, there's a vacant parking lot down there. Can we go just drive around there? I'm like, yeah. Because you remember with me, it was kind of a nightmare.
Well, your mom was a very nervous driver,
And I had
as
to
was
wait.
mine.
I had to wait till I was 18 to get my license. Yep. Because I had to basically couldn't afford driving classes. Couldn't
Mhm.
afford driving classes. Or so I was
Driver's
told.
ed,
I
yeah.
hope my parents don't listen to this. Oh my
Yep.
god. And then, just was never really taught. Like, so when we're doing all this stuff in the car with him, I don't remember any of it. Because you remember when I stole the car to go visit that girl Estella that I wrote the song about
No, I don't remember.
at church? Like I met her at church camp.
Vaguely, I remember her. I remember
Yeah.
the name. I
My
remember the
parents
song.
Never let me drive on the freeway.
I don't remember you stealing the car.
So I stole the car, got on the freeway for the first time ever, drove to Akron, picked up a pastor's son who wanted to meet another girl down in Chillicothe, Ohio.
That's a
Drove
drive.
all the way to Chillicothe, which is almost
That's
Oh,
southern.
I
That's
remember.
down by Cincinnati.
stayed there for the weekend.
4 hours.
Chillicothe, where the f-
You
is
stole
that?
the car for the weekend?
For the
How do I not
weekend.
remember this?
And then when I got home, my dad's on the steps looking at me. All he did was get up and walk back in the house. It took me a half an hour to get out of that car. Because I was like, but he never said anything.
Wow.
But you remember it.
Oh, never forget it. This
That's-
was my first time on the freeway. They
Well,
would-
no, I'm saying, but that you remember
That was a
him
small
not
car,
saying
too.
anything. He didn't have to.
But here's why.
It's the look he gave
It
you.
was the look, but he was between a rock and a hard place there because my mom was a nervous driver.
Mhm.
He wanted to get me on the freeway. She was giving him the business like, don't do it.
Yeah.
So when I did it finally and it worked out and everything was fine and I was okay, he was kind of like, that was bad, but yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we've
Maybe
never
you
talked
should-
about
You should
it.
ask.
Maybe
You
it's
should.
been
You should
on a
ask
show
him
for
because
your
now
mom.
Could be.
He's like, yeah, I went out there and I fucking gave him the business.
He's limping in. He's
Yeah.
limping
That's-
in.
Why
That's-
took him
you-
so long to get in the house?
Right.
you should talk to him about it because I've talked to my dad about a few things that he doesn't remember.
Oh,
he
my dad-
didn't remember.
My dad usually never remembers.
Oh, my dad didn't remember, but I was a very strong. I was probably 12, 11, 12. You know that prepubescent teenage years. I probably got told no, I couldn't go do something or go somewhere, something stupid. And I just spouting off as a young teenager.
Right.
I hate this family. I wish I wasn't born into this family.
Yeah.
And my dad just kind of
Classics.
looked at me and just walked away. And I was like, okay. And then about half an hour later, he comes in and he goes, come on, let's go for a ride. I'm like, okay, where are we going? Let's go for a ride. Get in the car. We get on the highway. I remember getting off the 25th Street exit. He drives.
Where's this going?
He drives over, pulls up in front of this big giant building that I didn't know what it was at the time, and goes, okay, you can get out now. I'm like, why? He goes, well, this is the Jones home. They take in orphans. So if you really hate this family and don't want to be a part of this family, I want you to be happy. So please go in there and find a new family. Like being sincere about it. And I just like broke down crying. Like it just shut me. And he didn't remember it years later. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I'm like, no, but it worked. It worked because I was like, I was just being, a punk little kid and was just like, I hate this family. Like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I to this day, I get off that exit. That's all I think of is him pulling up there and being like, here you go. I mean, years later, we ended up playing there, which was weird for me. But
we did play.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
That was Parmadale.
Yep, trying to do our.
There's a church in front of it or something.
Playing punk rock music.
But listen.
Rock music.
I've never had a crowd so happy to see somebody than the kids that are in the juvies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
They couldn't do anything, and we were scared that it was going to riot. But
my first time taking my parents' car on the freeway.
the transport?
I had a I think it was that soccer mom van that I had. That
the
silhouette.
transport.
Yeah.
The teal,
Yeah.
like the teal, like it was the weird Pontiac transport, like the
Had the
one that
sliding
had like
door.
the space front nose that went all the way down.
And
It was
door
the first
automatic,
logo of the
wasn't it?
show.
Yes, both of them. It had dual automatic doors. which I
Yep.
loved.
Damn. Baller.
It just had one on one side.
I thought it had dual.
Only on one side.
Even one at that time is.
Yeah,
I mean, that was awesome. Had cruise control. That was my shit. So anyways, I took it on the freeway. After they let me take the car to the movies. So I was like, okay, I drove to the movies. And afterwards, I wanted to see my girlfriend. So Rosie. So I wanted to go. I wanted to go on the freeway. Well, I had to go on the freeway to see. It was the only way I knew how to go.
Yeah.
And I got so lost because I had no idea where I was going. It was only probably like 3 exits away from here. It's like State Road.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
not even
it's
that
not
far.
far, yeah.
And I ended up going all the way. I didn't go in that direction either. I had no idea where I was going. I just didn't ever drive on the freeway before. I had no sense of direction. Still don't, in all honesty. But I was so lost. I drove until I ran out of gas, and I pulled. I was broke down. I think I had my dad's cell phone, like an old
Like an
black and white
emergency
flip
phone.
phone. It was dead. Yeah, that was dead.
God.
I was on the side of the road. I remember I stopped somewhere, like a Smoky Bones. Remember that place? I stopped inside one of those places and asked for directions. That didn't help. I had no idea where I was.
Asking for directions never works.
But yeah, I know. I was like 18. I'm like, yeah, you go this way. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyways, I'm on the side of the road, broke down. I'm like, I don't know what to do. My parents probably freaking out because the movie ended hours ago. And, oh, dude. I saw there was a guy on a motorcycle. He gets off a little crotch rocket like Yamaha. And he's like, yeah, you all right? I'm like, I ran out of gas. I get on the back of this guy's motorcycle.
Holy, are you
I'm
kidding
not even
me?
kidding. Little
That
crotch
sounds
rocket.
I've
So
never heard these two, man.
So I'm
That
holding
man
on
was
to this
Jeffrey Dahmer.
complete stranger. I'm holding this guy's waist, going like, I don't know where we're going. I've never been on a motorcycle before. I had no helmet on, obviously. I'm 18.
Probably a little too tight.
Yeah. I get off. We get off somewhere, and I go into a BP, and I made a phone call, and I called my girlfriend. I still refuse to go home. I'm like, I need to get gas. I think the guy helped me get gas and took it back to my car. I made my way to my girlfriend's house, and then her mom called my mom, and I got so angry because her mom was calling my mom. And then I left and I got lost again. Oh, dude, I didn't drive my whole senior year. I wasn't allowed to drive till like the end of the year. I was grounded.
Did you tell them?
That's probably why I
everything
picked
that
you up a
happened?
lot back then.
Huh?
Did you tell them everything that happened?
I told them, yeah. Yeah, they knew about I think I told them about
Even about the like getting on the back of the bike.
because they were asking me how did I get there, and I was too young to think of a lie, so I just told the truth. I got on a motorcycle,
Yeah, that's why people
No
tell the
helmet.
truth.
no helmet, and some nice gentlemen,
Yeah.
some nice
He had a nice waist.
young black gentleman helped me.
His jacket said
He
Angel
was.
on the back. I don't know what that
Yeah.
was about.
Yeah, my ass really hurts. I don't know why. So yeah,
You might have said Hell's Angel on the
It might
jacket.
have been the bike.
But
Oh, that's
but
what
he
it
was
was.
my guardian angel in that moment.
Yeah.
At least that's what he wanted me to call him during.
yeah, dude, I'll never forget
Touched
that. 'Cause
by an angel?
I was grounded. Oh man. Oh jeez.
You
That's-
should take that story for
I'm like, I've never heard that story. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's one of those things you're like when you're young, you're like, I'm not telling anyone about that. Maybe wait till I'm 30 so
I
I'll
only
figure
got-
that one out.
I only
Right.
got lost once, and it was actually with the other Jeremy.
Oh,
Oh,
And
fuck.
it,
oh boy. How'd that happen?
You're still here.
You're okay?
no, it was yes, I'm okay. Everything was fine.
I thought it was no, I'm not okay.
No, it was a weird thing because like somebody started following us, and like we were like it's like we were being chased.
Yikes.
And at the time, it's real weird. And then later on, when things come to light, I'm like, was that somebody that was trying to like catch up with the dude? I don't know.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I mean, I
Yeah.
was like, and he kept like I'm like, just turn down this road, and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know where I'm at either, but this car's like,
Do you remember what they tell you to do in driving school?
I don't remember.
Okay. I don't either.
No, but I well, he kept signaling.
Oh, look how we all
He
spaced
kept
it.
we were
turning.
just
What?
talking
He
about
kept
it the other day.
signaling. I was like, stop signaling, dude. I'm like, you can't signal if you're trying to get away from somebody and telling them you're turning. So we ended up like several turns. I was out by his house, and I wasn't familiar with North Bridgeville at the time, and out that way, I don't even know where we ended up. Somehow we finally just kept driving, and we turned into like this abandoned like lot, and I was like, just turn everything off. And we waited for the car to go by, and then we went the opposite direction, and
Wow.
then we came out finally on a street where I'm like, okay, I know where I'm at now. I know how to get myself home from here.
Jeez.
But yeah, that was
You made a
one of those things.
turn.
Like it was scary at the time because we're both freaking out. Like there's this car randomly following us, like high speed, like up on the bumper.
Yikes.
Yeah. And years later, when all this comes out, I'm like, that's a little.
They almost got him that night.
Yeah. Me along with them.
Yeah, somebody's dad.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it could have
Could've
been. I don't know.
Could have been.
Who knows?
All right, I got a question I want to ask you, Ryan.
Yeah.
All right, so and you can totally cut this out if you want, but Laura brought this up, so
No way.
I got to rehash this. You might remember. You definitely won't, but you'll get a kick out of it.
This is going to be juicy.
So, do you remember when you told everyone in the youth group that you pushed your dad into the bathtub?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember that? Do you remember what he made you do?
No.
I
You gotta twist it.
Okay.
He actually did push me. He pushed me into the bathtub.
Oh, okay.
And I said it was because I told him to off or something or screw off or something like that.
That would do it.
So somehow that story made its way back to my dad.
Okay.
And then I got I'm like Butters, all right? I got grounded over every fucking thing I did. Just getting grounded over.
Well, there was only one to
That
pay
was what
attention
happened.
To, so
So really, it
Yeah.
wasn't that
got all the
I
attention.
told my dad to screw off. He was just being a dick and threw me in the bathtub. So actually, that's the real story. Is I did nothing wrong at all.
Do you remember what he did?
I think dude, I don't know, man.
He made you get up on a chair in front of the entire youth group
Oh, I don't remember.
and
this.
tell them you were sorry.
Oh wow,
You
him.
remember that?
No, I don't.
Yep.
You know
No,
what?
Because Laura brought it up, and I was like, it like
That must have
took me
been one
right
week
back.
I was
like,
not
oh,
there.
Yeah, and see, we thought it was you pushed him into the bathtub.
No, No.
And
it
I
was the
thought,
opposite.
and we made this joke. I was like, oh, he was trying to just be badass. He dropped his toothbrush and like
Yeah.
bumped him, and, like
It
knocked
was-
him into the
it was
bathroom.
literally
Like,
something.
yeah, I threw that bitch into the bathtub.
No, it was literally the opposite, and he should have been the one standing up apologizing because he
Let's-
threw me in the bathtub for no reason. It was something really petty. So kind of going back to my dad, and I mean, so his dad was very rough on him, and so on and so forth. That's
Gotcha.
just all he knew was come home.
Your dad had a
And,
very
and the
stressful
kids did
job,
something,
too.
so they're all getting their ass whooped. That's how his dad was. That's how his dad was. So that's all my dad knew as far as parenting. So when that happened, I want to say I was getting ready and I was taking too long, and I was like, oh, I maybe gave some slight sassiness, but nothing to that degree where you need. Maybe he thought
Slight.
Yeah, maybe I
Maybe
sounded too
exaggerating.
gay when I said something. My kid ain't a faggot.
Damn.
I do remember him doing that.
How do you know
And-
my dad's nickname for me?
I do remember that, and I don't remember. But I think the reason why you don't remember that is because I remember when it came out. It was a drama rehearsal. It wasn't actually during service. It was
Drama.
maybe a Friday night in the youth room. It was only like a few of us there.
I'm trying to think. Were you still in youth group at the time? Because if you were in youth group, then I would have been.
Maybe it was
I-
last year or something.
I think we were.
Oh, okay.
But it was drama rehearsal for like a play or weird something, and I was there.
I've never seen your dad.
I remember
angry.
the story.
I
I remember the story once you
Yeah.
said it, but I don't remember any
Yep.
of the
remember that. Okay,
Yeah,
outcomings.
it's
of it.
interesting.
that is.
It's interesting.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I wish it was the other way around, but unfortunately it wasn't. No,
That's
I
funny.
know.
Did you get hurt or anything when he threw you into the bathtub? Or was it like did you get hurt or anything, or was it more like a gentle
It
lob?
wasn't that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's so funny. It's kind of like what you were saying. Like things kind of get lost, like forgotten about. But I do remember.
Yeah.
But like the details, and like that kind of just came back to me. It being in a drama situation. It wasn't
I
like.
mean, I stepped to my dad once. I remember that specifically. I know you guys know how street I was, and I stepped
Yeah.
to someone, but I did. And
Your
I
dad-
remember
your
my
dad that
mom
was
breaking it
a-
up. Huh?
Your dad that was a prison guard.
yeah.
Is
Like,
that
you
what your
step to
dad did for a
anybody-
living?
Yeah, but hold on, guys.
Yeah.
Cops and prison guards—they're not strong. Like
No, but prison guards got to deal with some rough, tough people, and they do have to.
But you're not alone either.
But
You
my
got
mom
other
broke it up before
backup.
anything could happen,
Yeah.
and I punched a hole through the wall. But that's why my dad had to like be forced into retirement there
Yeah, 'cause
because
he-
he got into an altercation and got
messed
hurt.
Messed his back up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
it was actually his arm.
Oh,
It was like his elbow or something, and it wasn't actually that bad. But they forced him into retirement. So,
Hmm.
Yeah.
so that's fun.
Force me. into it.
Yeah. Let's talk about our dads and trauma.
My dad was always pretty like a laid back guy, except for when I flipped my car. I got handcuffed and put in the back of a fucking cop car. And they were searching my car for like drugs and everything.
Oh my god!
And
Wow.
I hear him like they call him from my cell phone, and I didn't even know that I'm still in the back of this cop car, and I can kind of hear his voice. Like I hear a car approach, and then I kind of hear his voice. I'm like, oh, they must have called my dad. And then I hear like I can kind of hear him talking, and then I hear him getting mad. And my dad very rarely gets mad,
Mm.
so I'm thinking I am. Like I'm in so much shit right now. I'm in so much trouble. And apparently it was him yelling at the cops to get me out of the cop car because they had no right to arrest me.
No, that's
Yeah.
good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
My dad hated cops. Still does.
This kind of doesn't fit in with the stories we're telling.
I
but
know.
It's fine,
It's
Jeremy,
like
it's fine.
the only time he got mad was like
When do you flip your car? I vaguely remember
I think that's
that.
why I ended up
Yes.
freaking out on you guys.
It was right around then.
Oh.
No, because I flipped my car. And
Oh,
I didn't
you were
have
on the
highway,
money
weren't you?
to replace it or something.
Oh
like
my
that.
god!
Were you on the
That makes
highway
sense.
and you fell asleep or whatever and went into the median?
Yes.
Okay, I do remember that.
Wow. That's why you were giving him a ride.
That's why I was giving him a ride all the time because he
it
didn't have a
all
car.
makes sense.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, all that timeline.
Yeah, that's high
adds
stress,
up.
dude.
Do you remember I've only been put into the back of a cop car one time, and you were around. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't. Okay, so we went to that. What was the name of the school we went to? Victory, or was it Victory Academy? Remember the like?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. That
what
might
was the
be
lady's
that
name who ran it. It doesn't matter. But we were in some building, some church.
Yeah.
And I walked to Michelle Tamburillo's
Mm-hmm.
school to see her because we were dating. And the cop picked me up, put me in the back of the car, and brought me back to the Christian school. Only time I was ever in the back of a cop car. So it wasn't that bad. Wasn't flipping my car.
My dad could still. I never stepped to my dad because, like, honestly, he could still kick my ass.
Mm.
He scares me.
I've never really fought anyone. I don't know if I could win or not. Have you guys ever been in like any like actual real fights?
Yeah,
like for your life.
Well, I know you have because of coke and stuff like
in
that.
the bar. I owned a bar. That was the only time I
yeah,
ever
yeah,
got
you got a lot of
fights.
bar fights.
He's like, I had
so.
my own roadhouse going
Yeah,
on.
basically.
Start calling you Swayze.
Swayze train.
Nice. Have you ever been in a fight?
No, not like
In some ways, I think that's more dangerous
Yeah.
because like you could really like if you felt like in danger and you felt like you had to get into a fight and you've never like fought before, you could probably really kill someone. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you know your own strength. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I took karate when I was younger,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I feel like I could handle my own. I've had a few.
Still remember those karate lessons? All right. I'm hoping.
I'm hoping that's
why
one
I
of the things
stayed
that's there.
weak. So I never had to worry about that.
Like hurting someone.
Yeah,
You're like,
knowing my own strength.
yep, I just don't want to hurt this. I don't want to hurt anyone.
I'm doing this for everyone's safety.
Yeah, there you go. I've never been in a fight.
It's not fun. It sucks, and then you get punched in the face, and that's unpleasant.
Yeah, I don't want
Uh.
that.
There's nothing I hate more than getting punched in the face.
Unless
That's
you're
why I don't
paying for it.
understand. Yeah. Even then,
You're like,
why did I pay for that?
is this extra? I don't want it.
Like, that's why I don't understand these like MMA fighters or like boxers. I'm like, why would you choose a profession where it's required to get punched in the face?
Yeah,
Make a
seriously.
lot of money doing it.
What about that new sport where they're like slapping people in the
Oh.
face? Have you seen that?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's been around for a while.
Oh
though.
my
Like
god!
they do tournaments. And
It needs
stuff.
to stop.
It's so bad. Some
Oh
of those videos
my
are
god!
Listen,
I
if you're
would
stupid enough
never.
to do it, more power to you. Go ahead. Like, it ain't for me, but
Yeah.
I'm not
Did we
saying
not
I
learn
keep
anything
scrolling when I
from
stop
Rocky?
at those. I'm like, I'm watching this.
So I throw the
You
towel.
get smacked, and all of a
Seriously,
sudden
man.
you see
Like
their side of their
Simple
face
Plan
just swell
God,
up, and you're like,
wow,
you.
it's the scans on his head.
Hematoma.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's like, hello, we know what this does to people. Like, don't get punched in the face intentionally over and over and over. It
Right.
just
Has anybody
doesn't
had a concussion before?
oh yeah.
work. Yeah. Oh my god, man. Some of the ones that go viral are really bad. Where it's like usually like a huge giant dude smacking like some guy who doesn't deserve to be smacked by the. It just, boom, and then they show it in slow motion.
Yeah, that's the
and you're
worst.
like-
You know, the face.
You can just see
God.
everything just shift and come back.
and then they have like the refs that are standing there like,
Yeah, they're doing absolutely nothing.
thanks for that. You should have waved it off before.
I love
the
that they,
slap.
they use like the talc too, so you're like, that smack's getting full
Yeah, it's not
traction.
slipping off.
Yeah, it's
not
getting full traction.
Ooh. Although, here's a question: would you let Mike Tyson punch you in the face one time for $1 million?
No.
Mike Tyson now.
No.
Yeah, Mike Tyson. No,
No,
No way.
still no. I would still say no.
no.
You wouldn't see that money.
I know.
Yeah.
you'd be able to
Dead.
use it.
Yeah, you wouldn't survive
It's
to
only
enjoy
one
it.
time though.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't know. Josh got me thinking now.
I think it's only one.
Just one.
Dude, one and done, man.
Mike Tyson now. I mean, if you're like,
Well, he's training again.
I know, but
Okay.
he's still not '90s Tyson.
Didn't he just
True.
have like a heart attack or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's still not '90s Tyson.
They had
But don't think about-
that thing.
Think about the story too. Like Mike Tyson punched you. You not only have the money, but you also have that story the rest of your life.
That's
Ooh,
true.
one hit wonder.
Literally.
There you go.
I'll just have sex with Joe Biden. That's a pretty good story.
For $1 million.
Yeah.
I'd
Where
rather
you
get punched by
pitch
Mike
back at
Tyson.
me.
Yeah.
I was like, Mike Tyson can hit me
Whatever,
twice.
bro.
Dealer's choice.
Whatever, brother.
He doesn't care. He just
Yeah.
likes ice cream.
Yeah. I'm gonna block it out of my memory regardless. So
Except yours, you have to black out. Mine, I will black out.
Or you just like, he only gets one punch.
Yeah.
There's no, you don't say any other rules, and you sneeze and bend down as he punches. That was it. Hey, you missed. Sorry about that, buddy. I
What
still
about-
get my $1 million?
What about a punch to the dick? Mike Tyson.
No.
Remember Steve-O
No.
did that on one of the Jackass movies? I forget what fighter it was, but he had someone punch him.
Nope.
Oh, it probably wasn't Steve-O. It was one of those other guys, but he had a cup on too, which made it worse because it bruised all around it.
Yeah.
Oh God!
I feel like that could almost cut you if you hit hard enough, like the outside.
$1 million.
Sever your balls
I'd do
off,
it.
Yeah.
I'd do it for $1 million.
I probably.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, at the end of the day, I probably would too if this was a real
Like, I
situation.
just had a
This is-
vasectomy,
I'm
Yeah,
so,
like,
like now.
I'm not worried about having kids anymore, anyways.
Do you care to share that experience? How was
mean,
that?
It wasn't that bad. Vasectomy.
Oh, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's a nothing procedure.
You did it.
Yep.
Yeah, but the only problem is the one side didn't get as numb as it probably should have, and he started to cut, and I was like, oh,
Dude.
Fuck.
but he's like, sorry.
Jesus Christ!
Got in there, numbed it up, and I mean, I was a half an hour from the time I walked into the hospital till I was walking back out to my car.
Dude, I saw
was
you
about-
like
how many
the next
days were-
day. You didn't look good, man.
Like 3 days of recovery.
You
was a
look
little
like
sore
you're
for a
in
couple
pain a little
days.
bit.
You know
Yeah.
that. I mean,
It was numb. Yeah, it was wore off.
yeah, just a lot of ice.
Uh,
A lot of
A
sitting
lot of
around
people
watching.
asking to see it.
But I mean,
Friends, family members.
Can we? We're on FaceTime. Can we see it? Let's
Yeah.
see how's it healing up.
no. The worst part is my 4-year-old telling everybody, "Daddy had to have a surgery on his pee-pee."
Yeah.
Like, thanks, bud. Yep. And then having to explain that to people that I was not going to tell I just had a vasectomy. He's at like T-ball that Saturday after, like the day after. Like, yeah, Daddy had a surgery on his pee-pee.
He's like, I'm dedicating this to my daddy's pee-pee surgery. Ding.
He did hit 2 home runs.
There you go.
Technically,
Hey.
so.
It worked out.
He was just the
inspired
last.
him.
It was T-ball, and he was the last batter, so he had to run all the bases. But they
And
told him
the
it was 2
last
home runs.
child.
So
He's also the last child.
Ooh, there
so-
you go.
no, he's not. There's one below him.
Oh, so
Yeah.
what's his deal then?
Yeah, he's that wily middle kid.
Oh man, that's
Oh my
funny.
God, I love it.
Yeah, my wife wants to get off birth control, so I got the old snippety snips because I'm not going back. I know what it's like on the other side. The other side of the condom.
Always just
Oh, yeah.
wondering.
Yeah.
Mm,
Then you finally had to get. Then you're able to get rid of them. And you're like, I'll never go back to wearing condoms.
now Jeremy doesn't even know how to tell time because he always had her cycle up. Now he's like, I don't even know how to tell
Yeah.
time anymore.
What-
This is crazy.
What month is it?
Yeah. January. Is that a thing?
All right, I'm gonna do it. So, sex is still the same. Still good there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's literally the most nothing surgery.
That's like literally
Yeah,
the
it
only
doesn't
thing that
change.
I've been like that you can't really. Who you're gonna ask that you don't know about that? Like, hey, you had a vasectomy.
Yeah.
Is the sex still good?
That's what Connor asked me.
It
He's
depends
like,
on with who.
Connor just finished health class, so they went over like.
So
And
did
you-
you,
yeah,
Oh,
what
wait,
if I was like, I'll let you know when I have it?
so what do they teach? What do they teach in health class now?
I didn't. I'm not doing his homework. I don't know. I just seen like he was
So
doing
you
the
haven't had the talk
diagrams.
with Connor?
What?
You haven't had the talk with
Yeah,
Connor?
several years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, he just now got around to actual health class and learning the official names for things. And I was showing him the pamphlet I got. Like, this is what they're going
Wait,
to do.
you didn't give them official names when you had the talk? You didn't say
Yeah,
like the
but I
vagina
mean,
gets
every
wet,
single-
the penis gets hard. You didn't say any of that?
Yes, but
urethra.
the
Okay. I
You guys
remember
have made
actual
me so
medical
thankful I
terms
never
for all
had to
the
have these
different
talks with my
working
father.
mechanisms that make up
You're talking
the
about the
flip-flap.
very deep innards, like the gonads and things like that.
yes.
There you go.
All
Okay.
male and female.
Not needed during the talk.
Yeah, no, you don't want to go over their head. You want to be able to
Ovaries. You didn't talk about
relate.
the ovaries.
yeah.
Meat curtains.
Not really.
Meat curtains.
Make sure
there was
she's
no
having
meat curtains
fun.
brought up.
Yeah.
We didn't have Arby's.
Make sure you got the thumbs up.
If you go first, you're probably wrong.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be a game changer in this generation. Don't always be okay to go first.
Yeah.
Just saying. You gotta tell your kids things like that.
No, but he-
in a different way than I
The
just
first
said
thing he
it.
asked me afterward, he's like, "So, like, is it all gonna be like?" And he's like trying to like.
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yes, stuff will still come out.
yeah.
It's just,
That's a great question.
it's just not live."
That is a great
Yeah.
question. That's a great question.
Couldn't imagine.
That's
Couldn't imagine having kids and having to.
it's called
It's-
gravity.
listen,
you know.
I
But you have
I
to-
never really had the talk with my parents, so like
Me either.
we still don't talk about it.
it's kind of late now.
Yeah.
We never did. That's why I wanted to make sure that like they weren't learning like I was from everyone else. And
Yeah.
all that information, I just want to give you guys a spoiler alert. Wrong. Very wrong.
No, yeah, he.
It's very
as
true.
soon as we started noticing that there was some risque searches that had happened, it's like, okay, it's time.
Oh yeah.
And it
Well,
was nothing.
like
I mean,
it's-
it was like very mild in comparison to some of the things
So
you,
you know
can
all the
search
things
nowadays.
you saw on the internet? Those are a lie.
Well, we had to have the talk with Jackson earlier than Calvin. I still haven't had the talk with Calvin yet because I feel like he knows more than anyone in the house. But I told him, I was like, we're gonna have the talk when we get back from this vacation, and you are allowed to laugh during the whole thing. He's like, okay, cool. As long as I can laugh, we'll be good. I'm like, okay, no problem.
You should make a PowerPoint.
I really should. But the reason we had to tell Jackson, and I heard this happens a lot, is because they hear certain things in school.
Mhm.
So this one grandmother called the mom of the kid she was taking care of like a whore, and she works at the Gold Club, and she gets on the pole, and so he started asking questions. I'm like, oh man. So we just
My
had-
friend's mom's a poll worker. What's that about?
yeah. So we just
She's really into elections.
I hear
Well,
that-
well, son, that's the people that go up and put the power lines up on the power poles.
Yeah.
Yep, at the Gold Club
Yeah.
on the corner. We don't, you know, the funny thing in Memphis is there's like one strip club as compared to like Brook Park Road here, and like is it still like that here?
It's,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
yeah, but it's not.
It's awesome. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I don't know.
its heyday is come and gone.
Gotcha.
Pun intended.
But here there's like
No, there's still
There's
like
like
at
one.
least
There's a
lot-
few. There's a few, but they're
Yeah, it's definitely not.
it's not
what
like it used to be
was.
in the 90s, especially late 90s. I mean, it was all the way down the
I
street.
did go to Crazy Horse not that like I think it was like a year and a half ago because I remember growing up, my cousins always telling me stories about how cool going to Crazy Horse was. So I was like, you know what, I've never actually seen it. Never seen it, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go see what all the fuss was about. I went in, I was like, this place sucks, and I left like 20 minutes later.
I've still
Lido
never
Lounge,
been.
they tore down.
You've been to
The-
a strip club?
Yeah.
One. You've been? Yeah, I've still never been to one. I don't understand the point. I really don't. I can't touch anything I see. I'm gonna come out of here hornier than I was,
Mhm.
and then I gotta go home and jack off.
Yeah.
Really? Seriously? No, thank you. What the hell?
I
is
mean,
the
before
point
the
of that?
internet, I can see the appeal, but
Yeah. it's
Yeah.
true.
Okay,
Very true.
fair.
yeah, now it's just more of a nostalgia thing, I think. And
Yeah, and there's always like the stereotypes in there of like
Yeah,
the guy
usually
who's
the people
over
you see in there,
enthusiastic about it, be like, oh shit, like oh, and then there's the creep guy who just kind of throws the dollars onto the
yeah,
fucking.
you know, I
Right.
think majority of my visits, it was been for like bachelor parties, which in that setting, it's fun, it's memorable. Thankfully, they weren't mine, so it was more memorable
the
watching that
strippers?
person get embarrassed. No, yeah, it was more fun watching the groom to be embarrassed on stage because we had set it up to where he was brought on stage.
That's when I came to during my bachelor party. Is like, well, my bachelor weekend is I got blacked out at some point, and then I came to, and I'm on stage at Christie's, and I'm being
Downtown Christie's.
Yeah, and I'm being spanked, and I freak out for a second because I'm like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't be up here. And then I get hit again really hard, and I stand up and I grab my belt from the lady and I go, "We're done here." Off the stage. And I was like, I learned something that night is that I don't like that kink. I'm just not into that. And into
He's
the
also
whole-
into consent now because he didn't consent to any of that.
I don't
'cause he was
remember. I
blacked
mean,
out.
maybe I did. I don't remember.
Maybe you just don't like it in front of a whole like room
Yeah,
of
no, that
people.
would be like
No, you think that's when I would enjoy it? I'm a comedian.
Yeah. You saw the moment. You're like,
you like
done
making
here.
the
Yeah,
joke, not being the joke.
Yeah.
My gosh. Wow.
Yeah, no, yeah.
The only time I saw boobs live was maybe at concerts.
Hmm.
Hold
Like-
on, I'm processing that.
Yeah.
Like maybe going to a show and they're on the jumbo thing and like, woo-hoo, or I saw that at Roverfest a few times
What
and
the fuck was that?
King shooting.
yeah.
Oh, that a transformer blue.
Oh, yeah. The other day I was screwing with my AC went out the other day when it was like 90 degrees, and I was messing with the switch over there, and it went zzz, pop, and just it's all these sparks whenever. Dude, it was scary as
Home
shit.
ownership is not what it's cracked up to be.
Sucks.
Yeah, and I ended up getting it working. It was the circuit breaker, but I'm really afraid to leave it running when I'm not at home. So I just don't even. It's gonna be a hot summer. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Plus
it's
high
also
bills.
worse on your
Yeah.
your energy bill to turn it off.
Is it really?
Well, because it's always having to, like, when you get home.
Cool off the house again. I know
Yeah.
it took forever the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, man, like I just come down here. It's cool,
Mhm.
whatever.
Your breaker caught it, so you're good.
Yeah, but it has been cutting off again, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Were you just like naturally mechanically inclined, or did your dad teach you a lot of stuff?
No, I actually my dad always wanted to try to teach me stuff, and I never wanted. Again, goes back to when.
Yeah. So you just figured it out on your own?
Yeah,
So,
it just later. I've always been that person that like to take things apart and figure out how they work. I like figuring out how things work, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's just another version of figuring stuff out. It just
So my boys are both hell bent on not going to college, and I'm completely fine
Yeah.
with that, because they see I have no leg to stand on. I didn't go, and I've been successful. So they're like, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, I told them there might be some things.
it depends on what you want to go for.
For
And
sure,
that's
for
what
sure.
I told Connor. I was like, what do you want to do?
Yep, exactly.
Figure out, because he's going into high school. I said, figure out what you want to do now, or at least have an idea of what you want to do now.
Yep.
You're gonna if it's something you need to go to college for, great. You're gonna have to get really good grades in school in order to get into a good college and get grants and all that stuff.
Yep.
If you want to do a trade, he's into cars. If you want to go to school to be an auto mechanic, there's really good career centers here that can teach you auto mechanic stuff. You can come out making more money than most people coming out of college starting off. So it's just about what you want to do. Figure out what you want to do, and then we'll figure out the path you need to take.
Yep.
I'm not all
100%.
about. I mean, honestly, 5-6 years ago, I'd have been like, do something in computers, for programming, do this. But now with AI, it's like, can't say that now. Those jobs are gone. Like computers are going to write themselves now.
Yeah.
So it's going to go back to skilled trades. Somebody's always going to have to dump the garbage out. Somebody's going to have to fix the plumbing. Somebody's going to have to do the electrical.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a very long time before they can get a robot that can do all of those things correctly.
Yeah.
So it's all going to go back to actual labor again. So
Yeah, it's cyclical, for sure. Everything's gonna go.
I don't do much of it now at work.
Yeah.
It's more troubleshooting, and I'm a regional manager, so I'll have managers call me. Okay, I've had this problem before. This is what you need to do.
Assistant too.
Yeah, I mean, if you,
No, straight up, I have a card on. No, I don't actually.
I agree with
I
you
don't
guys
know.
though. Like going to college without just aimlessly is a bad idea, and it's a good way to
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to
blow through a bunch of money that you will spend the rest of your life trying to pay off.
I went for recording.
You're right. So,
I
yeah.
do nothing with that now. Zero.
Well, even if I would have went for graphic design, and I've told my kids this, I tell this story a lot to them, that degree would have been obsolete 50 times over throughout my career with everything that happened. And then I remember when I was at Scratch Off, 'cause you worked there, Bill, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
I hired him. He had 2 degrees, I had 0, and I hired him, and he couldn't do half of what I could do.
Yeah.
Because
It's all-
mostly it was just you and I figuring out those programs. That was it.
It's all about how much you put into whatever you're doing.
Yep.
Just because you know something because you passed a test doesn't mean you know anything.
Yep.
I've had people that are trained and certified in this or that, and you're like, you don't know anything.
Mhm.
Like, okay, you did good on a test.
You got
Congratulations.
the paper, and that's about it.
You have a giant bill you have to pay every month now for that.
Mhm.
It looks good on interviews when you say I have a degree in so and so. It just shows that you stuck with it for 4 years or 2 years or whatever the degree's for. So,
Wasn't Joey Biden going to get rid of all the
oh God, I was hoping. I still got a couple of
Joey
them trying to-
B's.
Joey B? I don't think he's going to do it, but people are really it would be crazy. I think it would.
I mean,
I don't like politics at all.
No,
so-
but I mean, I think that if it should be affordable. If not free, it should be affordable. You
Yes.
shouldn't have to. I get it. Yeah, I'm not saying Harvard and Yale's got to be free, but your community colleges should be free. That way, people that don't have the means to afford or come from families where you can get into these nice places can at least go and go, I want to be a lawyer. I really love law. I can go study law and come out and get that job being a lawyer instead of going, well, I really want to be in the law, but I can't go to school for that because I can't afford it. So I'll go work at McDonald's
Yeah.
and be unhappy with the rest of my life. So
Yep.
No one wants to work anymore.
it is true.
Preach.
It is true.
I don't know. I have no idea. Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw a ribbon on this one if you guys are cool with that. I think we went
A rivet?
long
Did you say
enough.
ribbon or
Ribbon.
rivet?
Yeah.
He's buttoning it up regardless.
What are you saying,
It's like
Ryan?
it's a school night. We got to wrap it up.
Yeah, it is. It is a school night. So
Oh, I put on the big headphones. That's when you know it's over.
Put on his big boy headphones.
That was the sign.
Did
to
those
wrap it
cost
up, but you
Big
guys
Boy
don't know
money?
that.
yeah. You guys want to plug anything? Go ahead, please.
I'm not into that. I am not into that. I just want to say that right now.
He said, "Please." That's a
Please
Still
plug.
no. Uploadsofun.com.
There you go.
Please go watch, even though it's okay.
Awesome.
use secretsocietycomedy.com to figure out where we're at next. But every single Saturday at Mayhall's from 11:30 to 1 a.m.
Awesome.
You might see people like Marshawn Lynch.
I was going to say, you may bump into Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. We'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye.
Goodbye.
Hey, thanks again for joining us on Your Drive Home podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show. And also don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. We will talk to you guys soon. Until then, drive safe.